students, today's class is for BBA second year student and the subject is BEBL, Business Environment and Business Law. In the last video, if you remember, we were discussing the scope of a business, and almost 90% of the scope of business we have already been completed. Remaining some portions are there. So in today's video we will discuss the various auxiliaries to trade. So the auxiliaries to trade. We have already completed the various means of trade, the meaning of trade, export trade, import trade, interport trade, all those things. So in today's class we will be discussing the auxiliaries to trade. Dear students, the term auxiliaries means helping. So under auxiliaries to trade we will discuss all such points that each or that factors will be very much helpful to the business or will be very much helpful to the trade for completing its activities. In other terms, for completing or for completion of the trade, these auxiliaries to trade always plays a very important role. Or we can say without these factors or these auxiliaries to trade, the concept of trade cannot be completed. So we must keep a close look on the various auxiliaries to trade. So let's discuss. The first point is transportation. Transportation. Dear students, what is transportation? Transportation is nothing but it is the means through which the goods are reached from the manufacturer to the ultimate consumer. So it is a means through which the goods are being transported from the manufacturer to the ultimate consumer. So transportation is nothing but it is a means through which the goods are being properly transferred from the place of manufacture to the ultimate user or to the end user, that is the ultimate consumer. So it bridges the gap between the place of production to the place of consumption. Remember, very important. It bridges transportation always bridges the gap between the place of consumption and the place of production and the place of consumption. Transportation always bridges the gap between the place of production and with the place of consumption. Place of production, that is manufacturer side, place of consumption, that is buyers or consumers side. So transportation is such a bimedia link without which the concept of trade cannot be made possible. If there is not being the transportation, then how the manufacturer will reach its product to the ultimate consumer? It is next to impossible. So transportation always plays a vital role for dispatching the goods from the manufacturer to the ultimate consumer. In India, the transportation, or there are various modes of transportation. Maybe rail transport, it may be rail transport. Through railways, we are easily able to dispatch a large or huge amount of goods. Then road transportation, by road also, with the road also transportation can easily be done. Then water also plays a vital role for the means of transportation with the help of huge amount of vessels. The transportation, that is water transportation, can be done, and in certain cases air transportation. In certain cases air transportation is there. So rail, road, water, air, these are the various modes of transportation through which the goods are being properly dispatched from the manufacturer to the ultimate consumer. Then the second point is warehousing. What is warehousing? Warehousing is nothing but it is a place where the goods have been stored before they are ready to the market for or out for delivery, or you can say so. Warehousing is nothing but it is a physical place where the goods are being stored. The goods are being stored before they are actually ready for marketing or out for delivery. It includes godowns or warehouses. So without proper storage, that is godowns and other warehousing houses. So without warehouse, that concept of trade is next to impossible. For example, a wholesaler buys a huge amount of goods for reselling it to the retailers. Now, until otherwise, the wholesaler is not able to properly warehouse them or is not able to properly store them, how can he will make use of the existing goods that has been ready for delivery to the retailers? So the wholesaler should keep sufficient place or should arrange for proper storage of goods so that he or the wholesaler may be able to dispatch the goods as and when required by the retailers. So warehousing or proper storing of goods always plays a vital role for making the concept of trade very much easier. Without the concept of warehousing, no goods can be stored and hence they cannot be ready for delivery as and when required or as and when demanded. So the businessman, maybe wholesaler, maybe retailer, maybe manufacturer, don't restrict it to the wholesalers only, maybe manufacturer, maybe wholesaler, maybe retailer or middlemen agents. They must plan for proper warehousing facility, then only they will be able to make a smooth trade or smooth trading of business can easily be done only when there is a proper warehousing facility. Insurance. Point number 3 or third exigence to trade is the insurance. Insurance is nothing but protecting the goods against the risk. Protecting the goods against the risk. Why the concept of risk is there? Because future is always uncertain. No one can predict what is going to happen in the future. No one can predict what is going to happen in the future. Take the example of present scenario where the COVID-19 is spreading day by day, very hugely. So no one can say properly that when the crisis or when the present crisis situation will be completely evaporated or will be completely as usual. No one can say. It may require minimum of 6 months, it may require 1 year. Some experts are saying, some expert doctors are saying that this COVID-19 will have an effect of 3 years or minimum of 3 years. So no one can predict what is going on or when the future will be completely settled or when the activities will be as usual as the case earlier before COVID-19. So future is completely uncertain. We are not in a position to predict the future. So risk always exists with the business. We can say business and risk simultaneously go together or they simultaneously go side by side. When the concept of business, there the concept of risk. When the concept of business, then the concept of risk. Risk may arise due to various factors. If we categorize some of the factors, risk for the business may arise due to fire. If there is a fire occurs in the business, then the goods may be destroyed. Again, the concept of risk is there. When there is flood, again the concept of risk is there. When there is strike or riot, then the concept of risk is there. Today's scenario will be the best example. When there is lockdown, again there will be huge loss to the business, because you can see right now what is going on to the retail shops and as well as the wholesaler shops. 3 days opening, 4 days closing, 4 days opening, 3 days closing, 5 days opening, 5 days closing. This is going on since last March, April, May, June, almost 3.5 months. March 15 to right now, April, May, June, 3 months, March 15 days. So since last 4 months approximately, we say this situation is going on where the businessman is completely unable to make regular transaction or to make a regular business. As I said, thrice in a week they are allowed to open the shop. Again, thrice on a week they are closing the business, or they are bound to close the business activity. So 4 days opening, 3 days closing, 3 days opening, 4 days closing. This is going on right now. So lockdown, during the process of lockdown also, all the business units are facing a lot of risk, or they are facing a lot of losses also. So the concept of risk is always there with the business. Where there is business, there is the concept of risk. How to solve or how to overcome this? Insurance plays a very vital role. Insurance plays a very vital role for solving the concept of risk, for solving the concept of risk. If we properly insure our goods, then during the stage of crisis, maybe fire, flood, strike, riot and lockdown, the insurance company or the respective insurance company where we make our goods insured, that particular insurance company will pay the compensation amount to us. No doubt. This situation is not, that is lockdown situation is not properly being covered by the insurance companies, but the other factors like fire, flood, strike is going on, then the insurance company may give proper compensation amount to the business unit. So insurance always plays a vital role. Without the concept of insurance, the trade cannot be made possible, or the concept of trade cannot be made possible without the concept of insurance. Hence insurance is always been considered as a major auxiliary to trade. Without insurance, no business organization can survive, or we may say every business unit will face a lot of problem if the concept of insurance is not being there, or if the business units are not able to properly insure the goods with any insurance company, then they may face a lot of problem during the stage of crisis. So every company, in order to secure their goods, in order to being secure from the concept of risk, must properly insure the goods. So we can say insurance always plays a major role as an auxiliary to trade. Number fourth auxiliary to trade is the banking. It is the banking. Nowadays, without the concept of banking, do you think any business will be successful? If we don't have any bank account, if we don't have any linkage with any particular bank, do you think our business will be possible? Forget the concept of business. Take the example of yourself individually and any common man. A common man heavily depends upon a bank. A common man or a common individual who don't have any kind of business activities, he or she also will not be able to survive without the concept of banking. We must have a bank account, so that online transactions can be made possible. Only when we have a bank account, then only we may make various transactions, that is while purchasing the goods online, maybe from Amazon app, Flipkart app, or while making payment on Google Pay, Phone Pay, or nowadays Amazon UPI Pay. So all these things, how it is possible? Only when we have a bank account and we will link that particular bank account with the respective online apps. So without banking, what I meant to say, without banking, a common individual cannot able to survive. Then how the large business unit will survive without the concept of banking? Every business must have a good relation with the banks in order to run their business very smoothly. They are heavily depends upon the bank for making various things like payment of salaries, various things like payment of salaries. Again, concept of banking is there. Concept of banking highly required. Next. taking the trade loans from the bank. Again, the concept of banking is highly required. Or endorsing the bills, that is the case of bills of exchange where the endorsement of bill has been there. Again, the concept of banking highly required. Next, payment through the checks. Whenever the business can make the payment through check, which is the most convenient method of payment, again the concept of banking is required. So banking is required in all those cases. Maybe payment of salaries to the staff, taking trade loans, endorsing the bills. Then we may say payment through the checks. Apart from this, there are a lot of other number of examples also. I am just giving you some of the brief examples only. There are a number of factors where every day every business unit is heavily depending upon the banking system. So banking facilities or banking system always play a major role so far as auxiliaries to trades are concerned. Without the concept of banking, no business organization can survive in today's competitive world. So in order to be survive, every business should heavily depend upon its banking facilities. So the banking system always plays a major role so far as auxiliaries to trade are concerned. Advertising. Today is the market where we find huge amount of competition. So advertising is nothing but giving proper information to the ultimate consumers regarding the product. It is nothing but giving proper information to the ultimate consumer. See, the consumers is having a huge or large amount of options. Number of products of different companies' products are available in front of the consumers. So why the consumers will choose our product, or when they will choose our company's product, the answer is they will choose our company's product only when they get a clear-cut idea or clear-cut information or proper information regarding the product. Yes, this is the product which is giving us this kind of facilities. So let's purchase that. Let's try something different. So by proper information only, or by giving proper information, the ultimate consumers can be able to purchase our products. So when the consumers will buy our product, they only when they have proper information. So advertising nowadays plays a very important role so far as making the business successful. So this advertising may be given in various forms like print medias, so this concept of advertising can be done through different means print media, that is newspaper, journals, magazines, pamphlets, etc. That is the case of print media, with the help of local newspaper, with the help of daily magazines, with the help of daily journals, with the help of pamphlets, or you can say leaflets. The print media can be possible. Electronic media include giving advertisement on the radio, giving advertisement on the television, etc., or the electronic means. Then nowadays very much popular online media, that is giving advertising in various social or various online apps also. Like we can advertise our product in Amazon, we can advertise our product with Flipkart, we can advertise our product with YouTube also. Nowadays we are seeing various products or various things have been properly advertised in the YouTube channels also. So with the help of YouTube, Amazon, Flipkart, and other lot of means are there. Now we can say through email also, or through email access, because every day while we are accessing our Gmail account, we generally see number of advertisements, number of advertisement mails have been there in our inbox. So that is nothing but called as online advertising. So online advertising also, we can be able to provide proper information to the ultimate consumer, so that the consumers have a clear cut idea regarding our product, and then only they can opt for our company. Because as I said, lot of competitors are also there, or different companies are also there providing the same identical product. So why the consumers will choose us? Only when we make something different, or only when we make quality goods to the consumers, then only the consumers will definitely want to buy our product. So advertising always plays a vital role so far as auxiliaries to trade is concerned. Now, if we make a proper, or if we make a relationship with the industry and market, the industry and market are closely interrelated to each other. How? So So the goods and services, the goods or services are heavily depend upon the industry and the market. Dear students, what is industry? Industry is nothing but a collection of sellers, where a number of sellers exist, that is nothing but called as industry. For example, cement industry, where a number of different sellers of cement will have an organization. So industry is nothing but a collection of sellers. Then comes to the market. Market is nothing but a collection of buyers. Just opposite to the industry, a collection of buyers. What is a market? Market is a place where number of buyers are going to the physical market for buying the goods. So market is a collection of buyers. So the goods and services will reach from the industry to the market with proper communication. Communication is nothing but what we have discussed in today's point number 1, that is transportation. From the ultimate consumer, so from the manufacturer, that is from the industry, the goods will reach to the ultimate market with proper communication. That is nothing but called as transportation. It may be rail transport, it may be road transport, it may be air transport, it may be water transport. With proper communication facility, the goods and services are completely reached from the industry to the market. Then if we see on the lower side, there should be proper information what is going on in the industry and what is going on in the market. Both industry and market must share certain amount of information among themselves. Unless otherwise they are not having, or it means the industry and market are not exchanging what is going on in the real place, or if there is not proper information, then the goods and services cannot be reached to the ultimate consumer. So in order to reach the goods and services to the ultimate consumer, there should be proper passing of information from the industry to the market. So the concept of goods or services can be made possible only when this chart is complete, where the industry and market must be properly communicated, maybe through different means of transportation, and the industry and market must share in themselves proper information. Then only the goods or services can properly be completed. So this is nothing but the relationship between industry and market. So with this we have completed the auxiliaries to trade, and in total we are completing the scope of business. So the scope of business includes various things. The trade, in the last video we were discussing the concept of trade. In today's video we will see the various auxiliaries to trade, that is number 1 transportation, number 2 warehousing, number 3 insurance, number 4 banking, number 5 advertising, and the relationship between industry and market. So with this the scope of business is over or complete. That's it for today's class. Thank you.